causing a nuclear apocalypse in the name of communism, or returning to monkey by undoing the industrial revolution and even the agricultural one. These are real ideologies people believe in. Let's talk about these and more.
Firstly, we got a well-known one, Anarcho-Primitivism. Let's go. For this one, you first have to start a Sigma male bodybuilding podcast. Jokes aside, technology is kind of bad because without it you wouldn't have to watch this video. Anarcho-Primitivism, like the name implies, basically wants to go back to caveman, back to monkey. Yeah, alright, there's more than that. Firstly, away with the Industrial Revolution and its consequences. Away with states, and away with the Agricultural Revolution and its consequences. But we don't all have to live in tents and become nomadic. So it isn't quite caveman level, but pretty similar. It is also worth mentioning that some scholars and adherents see it more useful as a critic to modern society, rather than an alternative to it. Well, let's get to the second one, another anarchist one. It is one of the many ones in this video that will either be or seem contradictory. Anarcho-Monarchism. It's anarchism but with a symbolic monarch with no real power. Think Joshua Norton without decrees. The monarch can also be there to stop any attempt at the state, because many anarchists believe that liberal democracy is the biggest threat to anarchism. So the monarch is a bit like an overseer that only intervenes to protect anarchism. This one again is more of a thought experiment rather than a serious ideology. I couldn't even really find sources for this one, well, no serious ones, just forums and Urban Dictionary. Well, it is quite contradictory of course, because anarchism opposes any hierarchies. Or at least most anarchists would say that. At least the left-wing ones, because anarcho-capitalism, yeah, that kind of sounds like a hierarchy to me, at least a financial one. Well, away from anarchism, let's get to statist communism. To a classic. You know it, you love it, it's Posadism. It is far too wacky to fit here, but basically alien apocalypse dolphin communism. Now isn't that a lovely combination? Not just any kind of communism, but Trotskyism to be specific. I'd recommend watching videos about it or reading about it online, but here's my explanation. So it was basically Trotskyism but with a few twists. It was mainly active in Latin America and it was heavily influenced by Homero Cristacci, who signed off as J. Posadas. So these twists were mostly his idea, even if at the beginning J. Posadas was the pen name for a group of intellectuals, of which Cristacci was the leader. But these ideas are very bizarre at times. Firstly, he believed, and by that it is part of Posadism, that humans and dolphins could communicate. He also believed that an advanced alien society had to be socialist to be advanced, and that they would aid us humans after we rid ourselves of our capitalist chains. Same for dolphins who can talk and are underwater socialists apparently, but to me they're all revisionists, I mean the dolphins. Bloody revisionist dolphins. Also, why aid someone after they did everything already? But alright, I guess. Yet most importantly, he and many Trotskyists believed that capitalism was dying after World War II, and in a last stance would launch a nuclear strike against the communist world. But the difference in Posadism is that this is seen as something to embrace and something favorable. Because socialism will come out victorious in the apocalypse. Workers of the wasteland, unite! So that was Posadism in a nutshell. I can only stress that you should look it up on your own. It's pretty interesting, and while memey, perhaps a bit less memey than you'd expect it to be. Our next weird quotation marks communist ideology is very popular among terminally online 14-year-old boys. National-Bolshevism. It combines ultranationalism and Bolshevism. It was first used to refer to a current in the German Communist Party and also later the Communist Workers' Party of Germany, that were very nationalist and wanted to undo the Treaty of Versailles. Oh yeah, we are talking about Weimar Germany times. During the Russian Civil War, some white nationalist forces turned to Bolshevism and also used the term National-Bolshevism. But those are boring, let's jump into the 90s. The year is 1992 and a year ago the Soviet Union dissolved. Russia is attempting liberal democracy and the National Bolshevik Front was founded because it could do that now. It sought to appeal to the far left and the far right. Now you might think that communism, which is famous for being internationalist, and nationalism don't fit together. And now you might wonder whether Stalin was National Bolshevik with his communism in one country thing. Go ahead, argue about it in the comments, I could really use the engagement. Anyway, the party split in the 2000s like any good communist party, so the party moved further to the left. was critical of Putin but has been supporting him since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Because obviously Nazis love brutal wars that they lose and are too stubborn to not spill more blood over. By 2026 there will be a rising sun in Moscow at 2 AM, inshallah. I also just find it funny how there are demonstrations with National-Bolshevik symbols. Russian politics are truly bizarre. Also, as you know, Hitler hated communists, but that doesn't matter. Who cares about paradoxes? Who cares that using Nazi symbolic as a communist is like asking please tweet on me and then put me into a concentration camp? But also Hitler loved animals, and don't look up what he did to Blondie before he killed himself. So let's talk about ecofascism. Ecofascism, it is brutal. Ecofascists want to conserve the environment and believe in climate change. For them, not the nation but the environment is threatened, hence they justify their views. They believe that overpopulation by non-whites is at fault and liberal democracy is not doing enough about climate change. And you know how fascists would solve overpopulation by non-whites. I may put this into a wacky ideologies video, but this ideology has killed many people. Many eco-fascists turn to terrorism and shoot non-white people, so this ideology I put it as a wacky ideology may seem a bit silly, but it's actually horrible and more people need to be aware of it instead of dismissing it as another fringe ideology with no effect on their daily life. Let's talk about something more lighthearted again. How about capitalist communism? Wait, isn't that just basically China? Debate in the comments, as I said I need the engagement. So yeah, this one is either China or communes sell the stuff on the free market. It's a bit of an open term. I also feel like this one deserves a more in-depth video instead of a small segment of this one. So I'll just move on and leave this one for another video. Our next one is Anticentrism. I don't know who Jreg is, honestly, but it seems like someone had fun making up ideologies. But it's the internet, so there's at least one unironic anti-centrist in the world, and that one is me. I hate centrists. So what is anti-centrism? Basically, all people should be extremists, no matter if left-wing or right-wing, just be extreme. Anti-centrists believe that centrists hold all the power and limit debate with two similar viewpoints, hence nothing in society changes. To quote the great philosopher of our time, Jreg, who only 2 sentences ago I didn't know who it was. Diversity of thought is important. It's more important than falling into a group. It's important you think for yourself about each individual issue and come to your own individual conclusions about each issue. That's why I have political beliefs that don't necessarily align with any specific group. Quote over. Let me read out the manifesto. 1. The centrists gotta go. 2. See point 1. 3. Ignore the people saying, that's not a coherent political identity. They're just not red, blue, green, purple pilled enough. Hold up, there's purple. How did I never notice the purple on the compass? Anyway, next one. And the last one for this video. Kakistocracy. Rule by the worst. Also known as capitalist democracy. Nah, I am just joking around, but please do write angry comments for the algorithm. Okay, but while this one may seem wack, I feel like the Roman Empire times really just was a kakistocracy. So yeah, this one happened, but never for the purpose of it being the least capable people. I mean, there's always a worse one, so yeah, not a real kakistocracy. Bloody revisionists not even doing real kakistocracy. So yeah, this is a political ideology specifically made for avoiding it rather than embracing it. But also, I'm gonna embrace it, and my favorite sorting algorithm is BOGO sort. Yeah, alright, that was the video, see ya in a year, and comment if you want a second part.